there, folks. We are back in the kitchen. We are making a side dish today, or I suppose it could be used as a snack or a breakfast or whatever you want for Pumpkin Palooza 2025. This is an open collaboration that I, Angela, the Inquisitive Farm Wife, am hosting just for fun. Anything, everything pumpkin. If you love pumpkin as much as I do and all my friends, then you're going to want to put a video out too. And if you do, make sure that you tag me in that video, use hashtag PumpkinPalooza, and if you want, there's a cute little icon thumbnail picture that you can use in your thumbnail somewhere or whatever. You can play with it or not use it, whatever. Just if you want to be included, just somehow get a hold of me and let me know. I'll get you on the playlist. Where do you find that playlist? Right here on my channel, and you'll have all the pumpkin recipes. We have had some amazing ones so far, and I know there's still some to come. I've got some old videos that I put on there to start with. They may or may not still be there. I don't know if I'm going to take them down or not. I haven't decided. But anyway, pumpkin everything all month long. I'm so excited. And I'm coming back with another new to me recipe. It is a pumpkin cornbread. So I thought a pumpkin cornbread sounded really interesting. So why not? Let's give it a try. Come on a little bit closer. Let's get our hands washed and get all our ingredients to get wrapped up together, and let's get going. You will, before we get started, I'll tell you what you need. You're going to need unsalted butter. I'm using salted today. It's okay. It's going to be fine. All-purpose flour, yellow cornmeal, baking powder, ground cinnamon, baking soda, fine sea salt, pumpkin puree, honey, and eggs. Okay, this is all according to what you might have on hand. You know that I am the queen of using what you have in your kitchen. So wash your hands, gather your ingredients, and I'll meet you back here in just a moment. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is brown some butter. If you have never done that, this will be fun for you. I don't do it all the time, but something about pumpkin and brown butter just go really, really well together. So here's my tabletop. You see me use this all the time. I almost always use this to cook meals for you. I'm going to turn this on, and all we're going to do is we're going to take our butter and we're going to put it into our pan, and we're going to let it kind of just start to cook. But we're going to multitask today, and that's why I love that. We can just move our stove over. We'll come back to that. We're not going to waste this, though. There's a lot of butter on there. So what I'm going to do is, the recipe calls for a 9x9 pan. I don't have one. I have an 8x8. I think it'll bake and be just perfectly fine in this dish. So here we are. Do you see that? Can you see that glistening? Look at that. All that was left. And now I didn't have to get out any sprays or make any messes. I was able to use the little scraps that was on here to butter my pan. I'm going to have 2 bowls. The larger one, we're going to put our dry ingredients in. The smaller one will be for our wet ingredients. So let's start out with our dry ingredients. We're going to need 1 cup of all-purpose flour. So I will measure that out. If you guys don't know, I like to keep adjustable measuring cups inside my dry ingredients. Controversy on whether or not you want to do that. I don't care. It's up to you. It works for me. I buy them at the thrift store for like 50 cents, and it is worth it for me to have it. So in addition to this, we need a cup of yellow cornmeal. There is white cornmeal out there. When I was new to cooking, I didn't know there was a difference. There is. But if you only have white, I'm sure it'll be fine. So this is a 1/2 cup measurement. We'll do it twice. We're also going to need a tablespoon of baking powder. I had to second guess myself. I had gotten the baking soda out, and I can hear the butter already bubbling. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and get this measured off. And then we're going to move it aside. And we need to get to our butter. I want to show you how this works. So we don't want our butter to scorch. as you can you see how it's kind of almost clear-like and then foamy on the edges? So these are the impurities. They're kind of just being filtered out of it, you might say. We're going to melt the butter in a medium saucepan over medium-high heat. Continue cooking until the butter begins to foam. I'm going to turn this down just a bit. Okay, so we are definitely at the foaming. Continue cooking until the butter begins to foam, stirring frequently to ensure that the butter cooks evenly. Once the butter solids begin to turn golden brown and the butter smells toasty, immediately pour it into a heat-safe bowl. We need to keep a close eye on the butter while it's browning so that it does not burn, since it can go from golden to burned very, very quickly. Okay, we're still getting some foam. Can you see this? Sizzly butter. It's still kind of yellow. It hasn't, okay, right now I'm starting to get a small sense of a nutty flavor. When you can kind of smell that nuttiness, you're getting close. I just want to, you're clarifying it, really, is what you're doing. But we will not be separating the solids. Oh yeah, I can smell it now. It's kind of started to change color a bit. I don't think we're quite there yet. Just a little bit longer. And we are there. I can smell it. I don't know how to explain it any better than there will be a distinct smell. And look, the butter is brown. It's pretty foamy right now, but as it cools, it will come down, and we almost got to the point of burning it. Here, now you can see it's actual brown butter. Almost burnt, but not quite. So I'm going to set this, we'll set this aside, and I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't accidentally burn myself. We'll go back to this. We got as far as we forgot the salt. So I'm using my pink Himalayan sea salt. That's what I'm going to choose to use today. I really think table salt would be just fine. You need a teaspoon, but I'm not going to put a full teaspoon in because we actually used salted butter today. So now I'm just going to whisk all of this together. If you wanted to be super particular, you most definitely could sift this, but I am not going to. I'm just going to whisk it, and then what that's going to do is it's going to kind of help me disperse all the ingredients evenly so you don't get, a clump of your baking powder in your mouth. And then here we have our brown butter, and this is going to start our wet ingredients. Our butter is starting to cool, so we definitely don't want to add our eggs yet. You need 2 eggs. I'm using a turkey egg today, which is equal to 2 chicken eggs. So that I will set aside for just a moment. We need 1/3 cup of honey, and this honey is kind of crystallized, so it is not going to hurt for it to actually go in with that warm butter, because it will probably kind of help it liquefy, and it will help cool down our butter. So I'm kind of going out of order, but you need about 1/3 cup of your honey. And just so you know, there is nothing wrong with honey when it crystallizes. Honey is good, just pretty much indefinitely. And so using crystallized honey is not going to harm you in any way. It's just a little different than what we're used to cooking with. Okay, so we've got our honey kind of liquefying, cooling that butter down. We don't want to completely cool it, but we don't want to cook that egg when we go to put it in there either. So next I'm going to go ahead and get out our pumpkin. Make sure that you get real pumpkin puree. You don't want the pumpkin pie filling stuff. It's different. It's got sugar and spices already in it. So you don't want that. Let's see. We need 1 1/3 cup of that. So I'm going to go ahead and see what we've got, because I'm not sure if this is 1.5 or 2 cups of pumpkin in a can. So let's just see. It might be exactly what a can is. Let's find out. Friends, this is basically, wow. Okay. There's not a whole lot left. It is basically all but the teeniest, tiniest amount of pumpkin. However, I've got some more recipes coming up, so I'll just set that aside and we'll just put this in for now. I like to kind of do it in small increments just because it doesn't make as big of a plop. Whatever. I'll mix that in. Got that mixed up. Good enough. And then I'm going to go ahead and break this egg up a little bit before we go mixing it in with the rest of our liquid ingredients. And here we have it. That brown butter, I will tell you, that brown butter smells so good. I'm so glad I took the extra time to do that. It really wasn't that much more effort. Okay, so now we put our little well in the bottom here. We're going to go ahead and put our wet ingredients right down in there. Okay, we do not want to over mix this, so I'm just going to kind of fold it in a little bit. Your batter can be a little bit lumpy. We just want to kind of make sure we incorporate the wet with the dry. Now to me, this seems a little bit dry, so I'm going to double check our ingredients here and make sure I didn't have to add any kind of oil or anything. Our oven, did you hear that? Our oven is preheated. Okay, I don't want to overmix, so here we are. And I'm just going to double check here. We have eggs, honey, pumpkin puree, baking soda, salt. Nope, that's it. So it is a very thick dough. This kind of surprises me, but we're going to go ahead and put it into our pan. I'm going to go ahead and spread this out to make sure it reaches all the corners. Okay, like I said, this is a very thick batter. I don't know that I've ever had even my cornbread this thick, but I'm going to follow the directions and we're just going to find out how this works out. I'm sure that the moisture of the pumpkin, you need it to be this way because as it cooks, pumpkin, just like any other squash, zucchini, all those things, they tend to kind of release liquids. And so I'm going to go with what it says. And I'm tempted, to add more liquid, but I'm not going to do that. And then I'm going to put this in the oven and we're going to bake this at the 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. Okay, so our timer just went off. And here's our rustic looking pumpkin cornbread. I can tell it's done. It's pulling away from the sides. It's starting to brown a little bit on the edges. And so I'm just going to put this to cool, let it cool at least 10 minutes. Ours is going to cool a couple of hours before I'm ready to serve it for supper tonight. And I would think you would easily be able to get 6, maybe even 8 servings out of this. So what do you think, guys? Have you ever made pumpkin cornbread before? Did you make it differently? Let me know. Is this something that you think you'd try? My thoughts are a little hot honey, maybe even sprinkling of some Parmesan cheese, butter. Yes, please. Okay, friends, I did make it back, and this has had a chance to cool. Let's cut it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably go ahead and make this into 8. I think that'll be plenty good size. You could even do 16, I think, if you wanted. But let's look at it. Ooh, it's got a nice crumb to it. Smells lovely. Squish. You know what? I'm going to cut just a tiny piece off. And we'll do a little bit of a taste test. All right, the tiny piece, I'm going to try it. Ooh. That's got really good flavor, actually. I really enjoy it. I could see why you might want to add Parmesan cheese to it. Definitely. It definitely has that savory flavor. I think the boys would definitely enjoy it with the hot honey like we talked about earlier. I might even try a little of it too. Well, guys, I'm going to call this a wrap. Another pumpkin recipe down. We'll see you next time right here on The Inquisitive Farm Wife. Bye for now. And we ended up serving this with a pumpkin chili. Look forward to that video to come soon.